All right. Hi, how you doing? This is BK Black Krishna for manfowars.com here on Sunday, May 22nd, around 12:30 p.m. And I just left College Park where I kind of had the same idea. And there's manfowars.com, relax sign, or flip it around to make sure you're not advertising in a public place or in somebody else's business or whatever. But as I pointed out at College Park, if men can understand what's going on, then they'll stop acting rude and sketchy and making people uncomfortable and making it hard to talk. And then they'll stop running around shaking near strangers and making it hard to stop the spread of the virus. And they'll stop making everyone else do that as well, right? So here at the Eaton Centre, and I went over this at College Park, so I won't go over the whole thing again. But regular straight guys, nothing to look at, no one to look, try to sexually harass each other, force each other to look. That's why it all looks the same. And then they make everyone else put up with and act like them. And then they make it hard to be nice and look at and talk to each other. Then they wander around shaking near strangers, trying to force them to put up with it, them acting sketchy, or bumping into or rubbing up against them, right? So that makes it hard for people to talk to people they know when they're acting rude and sketchy. It makes it hard for people to communicate generally when they're doing it near strangers and making everyone quiet and uncomfortable. It spreads the virus more, right? Because just at College Park, I was there. I saw the Metro grocery store there. People were, 15 feet away from each other in line. They're only letting a few people in the store. They're being very careful to stay away from each other, right? And yet, there's a whole bunch of brainwashed Canadians because straight men fell apart, and then they took other straight men and women and kids with them. Not a normal girl, relax, get attention, gay guy, other guy, hey, relax, let's make it easy to talk, get along, whatever, trans, whatever. But just regular straight guys. If people are spending, 15 feet away from each other, don't go near each other, just have to get groceries and go, fine. But how does that square with people acting rude and sketchy, running around shaking near strangers, or rubbing up against or bumping into people to force you to see them get worked up and run away? Right? It doesn't make any sense. If it's my wife or girlfriend doing that in public, obviously I'd have to stop them, say what's wrong, or calm down, we're in public, but it doesn't make any sense. Just politely ignore them, right? What are you supposed to do, some poor sketchy person shaking near strangers? Bother them back? Bother other people? No. Right? You politely ignore them and everybody's happier, right? Self-respect, not a mess for other people, yourself, whatever, right? They like being ignored, probably want to stop, right? It's right, you're shaking your people, instead of making everyone they know uncomfortable, then trying to force strangers to put up with them when they can't do much with people they know. And everyone around can relax and feel better. And people can mind their business, or they can be super nice. And I've often had that experience here in Toronto, Canada, and I've got a whole bunch of it on video. So, so one of my theses that I'm sort of advancing here, like at College Park, is if men want to feel useful, women want to feel special, they may act rude and sketchy and make you uncomfortable, or attack anybody acting human, looking, talking, feeling good, minding their business, nice, happy, smart, busy, funny, just anything. Put up, you're just looking for someone to do that, because if you run into another zombie, you just shake near each other, you can't bother them as much as you want because they're trying to bother you. So they're looking for more people to shake near and make them, and then they make more zombies, right? So, but if regular straight guys, men want to feel useful, women want to feel special. If regular straight guys can understand Alex Jones, right? Alex Jones, Infowars.com, right? Not agree with everything, not whatever, but just in an age where you're supposed to be politically correct, worry about what to say. Hey, how's it going? Oh, is it my business? Oh, my black friend, colored friend, Oriental. What's the right word? Always nervous and hey, yeah, I was playing with my hair. Yeah, you know how it is, sketchy. Yeah, I can't really say much. Instead, if they can understand a guy like Alex Jones, who's been yelling at the man successfully for 25 years, built a career off it, built his Infowars, 100-person operation, whatever. He's not the kind of guy, that usually, he's not perfect. I know him well, so I disagree with him a fair bit, right? And it looks like other people you know well. But he is very useful in terms of being your big brother against big brother, right? When Alex Jones goes, they're going to launch a bioweapon, they're going to bring in martial law. And it's like, they are crazy. And it's like, oh no, here we are, right? So bioweapon, whatever, we've had bird flu, swine flu, this flu, that flu, and we beat all that stuff. Thousands of people die in car accidents a day, or car accidents a year. We don't all stop driving, right? The regular flu kills thousands. So, and the numbers you can't trust out of China, Italy, Spain, Iran necessarily, they're all compromised in different ways. And even here, people go to try to say, the news says the test lines are around the block. And then journalists go out there to look, independent journalists, and go, there's nobody there. And they're sending people home. Are they trying to make it worse or whatever? So my point is, if men can understand Alex Jones and Infowars.com, at least take that, Not girls so much. Girls can too, but whatever. You know, you can't pressure them. That's gross. But if guys don't man up, they're gross. They're sketchy, quiet, miserable, make you uncomfortable, and then you can't do much of them, wander around, try to force strangers to put up with it, right? So, but if men can do that, men can understand Alex Jones, and can at least hear him, right? And there's many other people out there, if you don't like that specifically, but he's a good kind of figurehead. If you can actually listen to him and not, you know, pee your pants or act sketchy or start crying or whatever, and you can listen to a guy who's been successfully yelling at the man for 20 years. Not, hey, how's it going? I don't know what to say or do. Put up with me. But God damn it, this is serious. We are not going to go out like this. You know, they're going to use a bioweapon attack to bring in martial law. They're going to federalize everything. And it's like, well, can you handle it? Or is it, right? So if men can do that, then they can respect each other and communicate well. They can stop each other from acting rude and sketchy. Then women and kids will stop acting rude and sketchy and making everyone paranoid, force people to put up with them like they're unpleasant to be near. And then we communicate well, stop the spread of the virus, and mitigate the sort of martial law style conditions, which are getting worse every day. Right? I've got the last week on video, a couple hours here and there, and you can see this thing used to be here before. You used to be able to sit over there. Now there's a rope over there, and this and this, and so on. So anyway, so let's take a look through the Eaton Centre here, around 12:30 p.m., all closed. This could destroy the economy and the country permanently if we are not careful. Right? So that's closed over there. But if men can understand it, then it's no big deal. Right? It's not the end of the world. Right? Somebody rude, sketchy who wants to shake near strangers. It's not illegal. You can do it for years in this country. You can do it for in this city. In a big city, you can make everyone you know uncomfortable and then run around shaking near strangers for years. Right? There's always been poor, sketchy people that have done that. It's not recommended, but it's not illegal. It makes it tough to communicate well, and you know, especially if they try and make you do it. It makes it tough to respect each other and communicate well, and it makes it tough to stop spreading the disease when people are acting rude and sketchy, making each other uncomfortable, then running around shaking near strangers. Right? So here's a shot of the Eaton Centre, 12:30 p.m. All shut down, save for a few stragglers, and the people acting like zombies. Some of them are super desperate. They're super desperate, right? These days, typically. And again, at manforwars.com, if men can help people stop, if men can handle listening to Alex Jones, for example, then just handle it, and then you can look at other stuff. But if you can't, then you go the opposite way. You become something that can't handle anything and makes everyone uncomfortable, and so that's the problem, right? Well, lens crafters, semi-open, maybe, right? So then they won't have to force you to put up with them, and they can make sure that people are cool and where they live is cool and so on, as opposed to just being a mess and making everyone put up with them, making everyone else a mess. And it's all the exact same. That's why it's all the same zombie, right? We have nothing to look at and no one to look. There's nothing appropriate, not straight, not gay, not trans. Then that's why it's all the same zombie, right? So I'm a regular straight guy, and I want to walk slow, look cool, try and feel hot. There's no one to look at me, so I got to speed it up, force people to put up with me. Right? And so that's why, and then they make everyone put up with it, act like them. That's how it all becomes the same kind of anti-free speech zombie. And so that's what's been happening in preparation for this, is turning people into zombies first, right? So, but if men help people stop, and everyone's fine with it, no problem. I got a whole bunch on video. Millions of people are fine with it. They're just like, whatever. They're lying bitches begging to be broken, who like being ignored, acting stupid, pretend girlfriend acting stupid, or wife or whatever. Or they're super nice, get along great, respect each other, communicate well. So there is an idea. You see, if they stopped, again, they can keep people apart formally, right? They can have at the Metro grocery store at College Park people standing 10, 15 feet away from each other, and then only letting a few people into the grocery store at once. But if you still have regular straight guys making everyone else put up with it, act like rude, sketchy zombies, who just run too close to people, know you're not going to like what they do, and force you to put up with them, then that causes problems, right? And then they make everyone else do it. So, okay, so you go to a line somewhere, and you stay far away from people. But then on your own, you run too close to people, shaking, trying to force them to see you spaz out, right? Like, it doesn't make any sense, right? And the same people will do it. The same people kind of zombified. They'll be like, okay, that's it. You gotta take this seriously. Stay home, stay away from people. And then they're like, but zombie. Just run too close to people, bump into them, force them to see you look ugly, run away. You know? So it doesn't make any sense. But that's what happens, right? So It doesn't make any sense. Why they're worked up, force people to see them look ugly. And that's why it's up to guys to help people stop. And if men help people stop, then we can beat this. If not, then everyone's a messed up girl. Everyone's the government's bitch. No one can say anything. If everyone's operating out of fear, and and it becomes a problem. No, there's legitimate concerns, of course. You know, wash your hands, stay away from people, get some vitamin C, vitamin D, and so on. But this is a lot different from that. Where this mall with typically, I don't know, 5,000 people in it or whatever, completely shut down on a typically busy Sunday. Almost completely shut down. So, if this drags on for a couple of months, the ripple effect could destroy the economy. And that's where, you know, it helps for men to at least understand, be able to listen to Alex Jones. Because if you can, you don't have to, but you have to be able to. If you start crying and you start acting sketchy and peeing your pants or whatever, then, you know, you just be a mess. But if you can handle that, then you'll be strong enough to handle other stuff, right? It's kind of like your big brother against big brother, right? You know, they're going to use a bioweapon to bring in martial law. No one will be allowed to do anything. He'll be tracked and searched and drugged and chipped. It's like, yeah, fine. But if men can handle that, you know, it's like, yeah, okay, that's a possibility, and it looks like it's here. Then they won't be a mess, and they won't make everyone put up with and act like them. And then that'll make it easier to communicate well, and deal with what's going on. Plus, it'll make it easier to stop spreading the virus. You know, potentially if there's this virus out there, you shouldn't be running too close to people, rubbing up against or bumping into them just to force them to see you look ugly and run away. Right? Doesn't make any sense. So, Victoria's Secret's down. Right? So it's been getting worse for years. But yeah, again, the same. So, and as I said, people turning into zombies are getting desperate, right? I saw people yesterday on video, and I made a note of it, right? Oops, oh, here we go. That looks better. I saw people yesterday, and they're so used to making each other uncomfortable and then running around shaking near hundreds of strangers a day that they were going through withdrawal, right? And you could be like, hey, how's it going? Put up with me. And you're like, oh, how's it going? Put up with me. Okay, turn around. Look for somebody else to bother. You could find more people to run around shaking near before the quarantine. But now, the same person that was bothering somebody every few seconds now has to bother somebody every few minutes. So when you make it hard to be nice and look at and talk to people, and then you just want to wander around shaking near strangers like a zombie trying to force them to put up with you, it becomes really hard when you start running out of strangers, right? It's like they don't have enough people to try and attack and turn into zombies for their satisfaction. So, Apple Store shut down. Everything. So this could be really dangerous. But if men help people stop, and men help people respect each other and communicate well, then they can stop other men from acting like rude, sketchy zombies, making each other uncomfortable and running around shaking near strangers. And then girls and kids will stop. Do I really have to run near strangers and make us both paranoid and run away? It's like, that's what the guys are doing. Sure. What else can you do with them? You can be nice. How? They're not nice. So they make each other uncomfortable and run around try to bother strangers when they can't do much with each other. So that's why it's important for men to sort of understand one of the keys to sort of inflating your balls is if they can understand Alex Jones, your sort of big brother versus big brother, kind of gets you in the mood. You may not like him all the time, you may fight with him all the time, but ultimately he's trying to help you man up. And instead, they want to force you to look at him because there's nothing to look at, no one to look. They're just a regular straight guy. They're a gay guy. They're not going to, they could be a jerk. Obviously, some jerky gay guys, jerky everybody's. But if you're just a normal gay guy or a trans guy, you don't want to force people to look at you, make everyone quiet and uncomfortable. You want to be nice people. You want people to be nice to you. You want to make it easy to look at and talk to each other, right? So this is not that. So here we are. You just want to work up, try to force you to see it look ugly for a sec. This act sketchy and run away. That's the thing. If men can help people stop, then they won't turn to zombies who make it hard to talk and then run around shaking near strangers, spreading the virus. They will help people respect each other, communicate well, teach kids to, and then should be okay. So situation. What are you supposed to be, bothering back? Poor sketchy person, shaking near strangers. So, this is also quiet. Oh, you see how happy you have self-respect. It's a mess. It's awful. No, I might have video before too. So the GNC Live Well store is an essential. Well, that's good. You know, in the official news stories, or when the official stuff came out, and they were like, okay, you got us all scared, what do we do? And all they said was, well, stay away from people and wash your hands. It's like, wait a minute. You've got a GNC Living Well store right here, right? And you know that for hundreds of years we've known vitamin C is good for a cold, for the flu, for scurvy. So why didn't the governments or whatever say vitamin C, right? Or vitamin D? How about going and getting some sun, right? Boost your immune system, you know, whatever, you know. One of the issues is that doctors learn very little about nutrition. You know, they can spend 10 years in medical school, they spend a day on nutrition. The rest is all this drug, that drug, Sanofi, Pasteur, Aventis, Bayer, Merck Frost, you know, whatever. And so, but for practical purposes, if men make sure people respect each other and communicate well, and then women and kids calm down, realize you don't have to bother people and make everyone uncomfortable and just bother anyone near you and not be able to do much else, then we can discuss some of these things, right? So you see, even during a pandemic, like this person will probably stay away from people. They'll probably stay like a good 10 feet away from people at a grocery store line. But the rest of the time, they're running around shaking near strangers, trying to force you to put up with them and running away, right? So that's the problem. That's what we have to deal with. That's why I said, hey, how you doing, man? And the Shoppers Drug Mart is open. So all the people that could potentially suffer in a Great Depression if this drags on, or if they say, well, you'll put up with this, will you put up with that? Will you put up with this? You know, tomorrow you might not be allowed to drive, you know. Plus there's, you know, divorce is going up, there's domestic abuse cases, there's child abuse cases, no one's allowed to leave your house, you know, so people that are already in bad relationships can just kill each other, right? So this is stuff that men need to sort of wake up to make sure that they can respect each other and teach kids to, and then women and kids respect them too, and then good to go, right? So that's kind of a key. There's Starbucks shut down. And if they can understand that, then it should be fine. Yeah, no big deal. If some guys can't, some guys, no, start crying, pee my pants. Okay, fine. Next guy, right? Next guy. There have to be some. You know, I'm personally looking for men to speak with instead of just talk to. And, you know, I occasionally find them, but a lot of times it's tough. See, for example, last week, a lot of areas were cut off, but this area wasn't, and now this area is, right? So incrementally, every single day, there is more and more of do less and less. And it's kind of like Fight Club versus the Matrix. Some guys get together, respect each other, communicate well, do stuff for the hood, and then in public, they have to, you know, privately, but then in public, they've got to act rude, sketchy. You have to force you to see look ugly, you have to force them to see look ugly, you run away from each other, fine. But some men who can respect each other can do stuff privately, get the word out, and help people, you know, get along and stuff. And or the Matrix, where we're sort of shoved online, herded into digital ghettos, and the rich people take the world, and I guess that's about it. So, so it's all shut down. So, and those escalators are still running, but they'll probably stop tomorrow. And the food court is, oh, it's open? That's strange. All right, so this is the food court. Keep in mind, this is Sunday at 12:30 in downtown Toronto, Canada. This is a formerly busy, bustling mall filled with thousands and thousands of people, right? Yeah, no, if men can help people stop, and men can understand Alex Jones and others, then they won't be all messed up and shaking near people and making everyone uncomfortable. They can you know, feel their balls, feel that they have to do something. Women and kids will calm down. People will respect each other, communicate well, put each other in a good mood. They'll stop running around shaking near strangers during a coronavirus pandemic, bumping into strangers, trying to force you to see them look ugly and run away when we should be practicing, polite Canadian social distancing, right? Politely acknowledge each other, keep your distance, help each other feel better, as opposed to knowing people aren't going to like being near you and then running too close to and bothering them anyway. So that's the thing, right? And there's all sorts of information out there. There's all sorts of whatever out there, right? And so if men can take this seriously, it should be okay. They're lying bitches begging to be broken. They like being ignored. I got tons of video the last few weeks. They just act stupid near you and they run away while you do other stuff. And because they're sick of making everyone uncomfortable and running around trying to force strangers to put up with it. So, and if men can stop, then they'll stop other men and women and children and should be okay. What's an essential service? Tim Hortons. There you go. People aren't as far away in line at this Tim Hortons as they were at the grocery store. You get the idea. How you doing? It's all inconsistent. But this could be where the super rich people and their big box stores take over, and that'll be all you have. This is sort of like in communist countries. It's sort of like communism, like UN Agenda 21 to take over the world, to save it from us and save it for the animals and plants, and otherwise we're going to kill it or whatever. But this is what their goal is sort of a communist system where all this sort of independent free enterprise. How you doing? Oh, you're open. Good stuff. So KFC's open. So Tim Hortons and KFC are open. And they're open here. This is a teriyaki place. So there's a few places open, right? So Tim Hortons, teriyaki place, and KFC open so far here. But yeah, it could be a part of the plan for the rich people to have sort of martial law, take over everything, destroy all the small businesses, destroy free enterprise. Then you've got to line up at big box stores like Walmart, which is basically like in the Soviet Union, in communist Russia or communist China, where you spend long lines, at a couple of official places, and that's about it. And McDonald's is, it looks kind of closed, but kind of open. No, I think they're closed. Okay. So, these barriers here. Fascinating. Sunday, March 22nd, 2020. A huge mall. And very, very, very quiet. So, crazy. Yeah, if men can handle that, and they can kind of build up their ball strength a bit, then they should be able to calm down and communicate well, and help everyone else, as opposed to making everyone uncomfortable and making everyone make everyone uncomfortable, and then run around bothering strangers in the exact same way, right? Not like a nice, polite straight guy or gay guy or trans guy or girl or kid. You're not going to like this. You have to run fast and force you to put up with it and run away. If they stop making people they know uncomfortable, if men can help people stop acting rude and sketchy with people they know, then they can stop running around shaking near strangers, right? That makes it easier for people to respect each other, communicate well about fun or serious stuff, and it stops the spread of the virus, right? Because you don't want to be running around shaking near strangers, forcing them to put up with you and running away during a pandemic, right? So now we're on the top floor. Let's get a look here. You'll get an idea of people kind of scattered, running this and that, spinning around in circles, trying to force you to barely see them play with their hair, rub their face, or get worked up and run away. And that's the zombiosis that you got to beat. Because otherwise, imagine how many people they'll spread the virus to. If they were a polite Canadian, and they weren't running too close to people, rubbing up against, bumping into them just to force people to see you spaz out and look ugly, then you could mitigate the spread of the virus a lot faster, right? But instead, if they run shaking near hundreds of Canadians a day, like poor mentally ill homeless people used to. But it just became normal with regular straight guys going out like that, acting sketchy, making each other uncomfortable, nothing to look at, nowhere to look, force you to put up with them. And you have to do it back because it's kind of gross. You can't just look at it. And then when you do it back, you can't do much with each other. There's no point being nice, talking to each other much. You just trying to get away with bothering each other. So then they run around shaking near strangers, trying to get away with bothering them. And if men can at least understand the sort of, if instead of acting like a, pretend ugly girlfriend zombie, worked up, force you to put up with them. If men can understand sort of, oh, here we go, sort of semi-open, and if men can understand, Alex Jones and handle this guy yelling at the man for 25 years, right, successfully, not just from his mom's basement, but successfully, right? Then they'll stop acting rude and sketchy. Then women and kids will stop acting rude and sketchy, and then people will respect each other, communicate well, and be able to handle what's going on. And they'll stop running around shaking near strangers, spreading, any potential virus all day and all night when it's hard to do anything else near people. So. If men can understand that, right? Now, girls, kids, they can help, obviously, but no pressure. It's kind of gross. But if men don't man up, they're kind of gross, right? They're kind of just rude, ugly girls. So it's sort of pick your poison, right? But if men can understand, Jones going, they're gonna use a bioweapon attack to bring in martial law, then and you can be like, if you don't pee your pants, you don't start crying. There's a chance you can stop acting rude and sketchy. Oh, real fruit bubble tea. Okay, this is an essential service. Nice. Oh, good luck today. Cheers. So if they stop, then should be fine, and if they don't, then should be screwed. So you can see, even during a pandemic, they don't care. They'll still run too close to people, rub up against or bump into them. Strangers, just to force you to see them get worked up, look ugly, stressful, and confusing, and run away, right? So that's the thing. But if they can handle, they're going to use a bioweapon attack to bring in martial law. This is serious. We need to do something. Guys, got to man up. And even if you don't, it's like your big brother. Your big brother versus big brother, right? You might not like everything he says. You might argue with him, right? You might fight with him. But at the end of the day, he's going to help you man up, right? And so that's part of what the goal is, because otherwise. As I said, you get the rude, sketchy zombiosis. People at home torture each other, acting rude and sketchy, and then they can't wait to run outside and shake near strangers, try to bother them, force them to put up with it, and so that's not good on a lot of levels. So here we are, top floor of the Eaton Centre, Lens Crafters. I think I saw Lens Crafters before. All right, Freedom Mobile. Closed. Don't close the baby gap. Babies need jean jackets. You animal. How could you close the baby gap? Excuse me. Oh, there's a nice vulnerable girl over there. Just relaxed, said hello. Times are tough, so. That's good. You can still do that. There's still some human stuff inside people, because I get to meet it. Once people, see that I'm ignoring somebody worked up, shaking near people, and I don't want to do it, and they don't have to do it, and we don't have to make each other uncomfortable and run away from each other, then they can be super nice, right? So whatever's still left of humans in there, including men who could man up and help people chill out, other men, women, and children chill out, the women and children who could chill out and be good company and, make sure people like them and stuff. Should be all right. Free people. Indeed. All right. So the desperation, that's why it's bad to turn into a zombie in general, but the desperation to sort of be used to making people uncomfortable and then running around shaking near strangers is exacerbated when there's no strangers to run around shaking near and bothering. Right, so, pretty. So this is the Eaton Centre. And again, just a reality time check. Unless you think I can manipulate my cell phone time some way. 12:57 p.m., Sunday, March 22nd, 2020. This is your life. Slipping away before